We're going to give you a little garden update. These are my strawberries, and we have really been getting a lot of them. Every day I've gotten about 2 pints out of here, and we have quite a long row of strawberries. Nothing better than fresh strawberries. These are my strawberries. Look how beautiful they are. Look at just, I haven't added anything to it. It's amazing how many have been growing. My little grandson likes to come over and he picks strawberries, because strawberries, your grandma's strawberries, are his favorite. So as you see, we have a long strawberry patch. So I'm going to have plenty to put in the freezer, it looks like. Potatoes, I'm trying something new. I'm growing them in a huge bucket. And Ted drilled holes in the bucket all over the place and in the bottom. Then we put our compost in, straw, and these plants are just really growing. I have to put dirt into them almost every day. All the rain that we've had has been just wonderful. But of course I don't trust it, so we have our barrels. Here's another one of our barrels. I have 4 of these. So that should be quite a lot of potatoes. Actually, I only put 3 potatoes in here, and I think this is, I'm not sure, but I think it's like it's a big barrel that they use on farms. And I don't know what they get in there, but they're quite large, so we should get a lot of potatoes. I've harvested quite a lot of rhubarb. Now, this is a new plant, only been a year old, so I've gotten a lot of rhubarb, cut it up, put it in the freezer. It seems like it's doing well. We're using the back to eating garden. You'll see how nice that is. Look at those wood chips down there. And yes, the ones on the bottom here are decomposed, but we keep adding to it. There's about, I'd say about 9 to 12 inches of wood chips. Here's some of our cabbage. It's growing nice. Got 6 heads. And what I'll do with that, we'll eat one probably fresh, and then I will dehydrate the rest of it. I thought these were goners because we had a couple woodchucks. A couple, I'm saying. We had 8 woodchucks, and Ted and I have one by one taken care of them, gotten rid of them. So we're just slowly making our garden grow. Now here is a raised bed that we're going to put our raspberries in. We have picked some wild raspberries bushes, and we're going to go ahead and put them in there. We're going to just let everything compost around it. This is our onions, and boy do we got the onions. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, if you want onions to get big, you have to keep taking the dirt away from them on the bottom, and then they'll get bigger and bigger. Otherwise, you just get real thick green onions. So this patch here is not ready to plant, so we're probably going to put some containers in here. Now, Ted made like little raised beds. See how this is? Just a thin raised bed. And that's how we're growing some of our beans, our green beans. Now, the woodchucks came in here and just helped themselves. So once again, we have the back to eating type garden going on here. We're trying to see the difference between grass and straw and our wood chips. I can't help it, but I do like those wood chips. This gives you an idea of our tomato plant. Ted made individual raised beds for them. Yes, it's a little extra work, but you know what? We find that we just like this. And you can see I already have some babies on there. This is Illinois. These are going to be my Roma tomatoes. I don't want too juicy of tomatoes. I want to make a real nice paste. And I want to make a nice sauce. So, many flowers. Lots of flowers. This means they're doing well, and we're going to probably have a lot of tomatoes. And instead of cages, we just got these real big stakes. They're about 5.5 feet tall. They're used for fencing, and that's what we're using. And I took some aluminum foil and tied it on there with string. Nothing fancy, but it does keep the birds away. These are green peppers that are going to be very long, and they're very good for frying up, using it for sausage and peppers, as you see the little baby growing. And lo and behold, Ted and I took our blueberry bushes and we put them in these individual raised beds too. And look, I've got blueberries. There's another plant. There's my long green pepper bush. These aren't hot, these are sweet peppers. But one thing I do find that when we have these individual raised beds, but this really helps with weeding and that. You can see the difference in part of my garden that is has been weed suppressed with the Back to Eden method, and also with grass, and then you got this wild stuff growing, and we got to get the rest of the garden done. We keep a pile of grass over here, and that's good because then when we feed our composter, we have our green, and then we put straw or hay in it to be our brown. But I wanted to show you, and I do have to clean up around here. Here's a few of our raspberry bushes. So Ted and I just went into the woods and we found some wild raspberry bushes. Now, to me, nothing's going to taste better than actual wild bushes that I didn't have to pay a dime for. This was a huge pile, and the deeper you go, I mean, it's real dark. But we put everything in this, everything. And over the course of the winter, it really decomposed pretty good. Now this I'm very proud of. I wanted one of those big barrel composters, and I wasn't going to pay 200 and something bucks for them. So Ted built me one. And the only difference is we don't have the big fancy wheel to turn the thing. I actually have to take my hand and do that. So, and we just keep turning it around. So he painted a water barrel black. He drilled holes in it, as you can see. There's all kinds of holes in it. We throw water in it here and there. Then there's an air tube that goes through to the other side and lets air in. And I'm going to pull this over. It's very simple setup. And I don't know if you can see it, but here's just an idea how nice and rich and black. And it was only a couple, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks ago, that this was chicken poop and hay, or not hay, but straw and grass clippings. And I don't know if you could see in there, but it's nice. Look at that. There's bugs in there. That's good. So this is my beautiful compost, and I'm real proud of Ted for making that. Here's a raised bed. Right now I'm just letting everything rot in here. You see my 4 raspberry plants. A friend of mine gave me these, so these come out of her garden. And I'll plant these. These are black raspberry. The other ones that I found that were wild are actually red raspberry. So we should have a nice crop next year. And that's our cat Frankie and her kitty, and we just have too many cats if anybody wants it. Now this is my kitchen garden. You see I have some lettuce. Our pickles are started, and then we'll put up a lattice fence next to it, and they'll climb up there, and they have little flowers here and there. But the lettuce will be gone by next week. I'm growing some more, but in the ground. Then I have over here, I have some garlic chives. And then we have some Aztec marigolds, they're called. I have a little bit of everything here. I'm also trying Back to Eden method in my kitchen garden. It's been wonderful as far as weeding goes. If anybody remembers, I was in tears last year with all the weeding in Katzcradul really helped me. So we have more strawberries. I'm trying to establish more strawberries over here. More lettuce. Over here I have a beautiful, this is going to be those beefsteak tomatoes. And how beautiful that plant is. It's huge. It's already about 3 feet tall. And again, I'm using the fence poles. I have basil around my tomatoes all over. We just have, this is tarragon. Look at the size of this. Was it tarragon? Might be oregano. Not sure. Oh, look at that. My little, I have lettuce growing in there. How'd that happen? Ah! Okay. I have, let's see, more green beans are growing. This is just my little kitchen garden. So this is my green beans there. Then I have some thyme. Thyme's growing over here. Here I have a, this is a regular green pepper plant over here. And I have, oh no, a big bug. He glows at night. It's sort of cute. But that's a regular green pepper. Then I have, if you can see these, 8 plants, I think they are. Those are all sweet potatoes. Because when I grew the turnips in here, it was amazing how well they grew. So I thought I would try sweet potatoes. Now we live in the north. I don't know how that's going to be. And I'm using those Beauregards. So we'll see. And there's more basil. Marigolds. And I try to encourage the bees to come. We'll see. Here's more sage. Then I've got more onions. It's funny. More basil. Onions. This is a jalapeno plant. Look at this. I already got one. These are broccoli. 2 big broccoli plants. More potatoes. Then I have a eggplant. Another eggplant in between onions, eggplant, and this is, oh no, this is a sweet potato. Sweet potato. And then of course I have fresh rosemary. I love rosemary for chicken. I just take it, put it in the cavity and bake it. Now you'll notice my bean poles here. I'm going to have to make them larger, but I have green bean, pole beans are going to be growing up here. So, this is a wild bean. I think this is green bean, but a few of them are grown, and I'm going to let them keep growing. So we'll see what happens. But so, that's just my kitchen, right out the door kitchen garden. I think that's pretty neat. Last year, you'll remember I had the whole deck was totally covered in plants. This year I don't have that. This year I'm doing the Back to Eden garden, and I am so happy with it so far. It really does keep the ground moist. And I'm trying it. This is our first full year, but I never ever want to go back to what we went back to that one time, or I don't want to go back to last year. I was just in tears. Work, 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 and still nothing was coming out. Everything, well, it was drought, but the bugs, nothing I did. The weeds just took over. So look at that. Let me get a taste of that. Oh yeah. The weeds just come up so easy. If you do have a few, look at this. Just deep. And I just throw them back down. Because Katzcradul told me, pick them out and just throw them down. So that's about it. Hope you like my garden. Ted and I sure are trying.